this?
Sure. Hello, friends. My name's host Derek. Welcome to Talking with Famous People. This is not the first time that we've had one of these, but it's been a while. We're having a mandatory typology community meeting right now.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Attendance is mandatory. Please let all the typology community people know that they are all required to attend this meeting. If they don't attend it, they're going to have to undergo 18 hours of diversity training.
Gosh.
That's the only other option to attending this meeting. So in this meeting, we're going to talk a little bit about typological diversity. Just to say, it's another way of talking about, a key area on the agenda. I'm going to make an agenda here as we'll start by making an agenda of key critical issues we need to discuss as a typological community. The one main agenda issue that I've got on the agenda is so-called ESFP problem, which is how do we both acknowledge honestly that type better describes a person than most group labels, and concurrently not fall victim to the same groupist nonsense that all the other groups do. That's one of the agenda items on tonight's mandatory typology community meeting. I see here on the paperwork Judy gave me that C.S. Joseph still hasn't paid his dues. He's continuing to enjoy the benefits of being a member of this typological union, but he has not paid any of his dues. So if anybody sees C.S. Joseph, please tell him we've got 4 years back dues due. He's going to need to send me $4,800. $4,800. What about the group devoted to anti-groupism? That group's fine because it's not really a group of people. It's just individuals who fail to manifest a bad behavior, or generally don't manifest it, I guess you could say.
This way because I have to
Cool. So one of the weird, unique, appealing aspects of typology is that unlike any other group label, it tries to put you in a group of people who actually act the same way, right? Like, so the problem with misogyny and racism and homophobia and stuff is basically it says you don't get to act like an individual. You have to act like what I say your group acts like. So if I think loose women are the problem, which is a common theme I've heard lately, amusingly, ridiculously, who knew a girl spreading her legs had that much power? Anyway, so if it's talking something like loose women, well, the problem is you're trying to make everybody be constrained by their identity as a woman. The difference between typology and other kind of group labels is, at least for me, if I have typed you and I tell you you're an ESFP, well, I'm saying this is how you approach life consistently. And I'm correct in that. Oh, did you forget, or were you never informed? I've been given the power to issue executive orders in the typological community. I was appointed by Rachel to the presidency of the typological community. I'm president. Rachel appointed me. Fortunately for me, the government of the typological community is an appointment system rather than an election. So that's what made me, that's why I was president. And when I say president, I mean all powerful emperor. So, yeah, it is interesting. It's interesting the way that different communities elect their officials in different ways, and how some communities, like this one, have an all-powerful emperor like me, whereas other communities, like a democratic country, would just Eric's thinking is subjective. Put this man to death. Guards. We have another execution to line up. Listen, misters. Okay. The only reason I'm going to let this slide this time is because at least you're here. At least you're not out of compliance. Where the fuck is Megan Lavoda? When she gets here, I'm going to pull her aside, and Rachel and I are going to take turns spanking the shit out of her. Okay? So if you see Megan Lavoda, you see Bukoki, tell them, check your watch, lady. There's a mandatory meeting right now. If you see CS Joseph, if you see DSP, if you see Frank James, run up to them and say, dude, you better hurry. Eric's getting pissed. There's a mandatory meeting right now. Do them that small favor at least, because they wouldn't want to miss this mandatory meeting and get in trouble. Well, Fomalhot, you see, we have a very humane way of executing people here in the typological country. We use a giant microwave. Okay? Because I was talking with my dad and Rachel this morning about what's the quickest way to kill somebody in an execution. How fast is the electric chair? How fast is the gas chamber? How fast is firing squad? How fast is the hanging? Etc. Well, I'm going to now toss in an ancillary fact that's relevant, but needed to be known before I continue. Do you know that the original microwaves that they were making, the prototypes and stuff, were much more powerful than the microwaves they end up selling nowadays? So instead of the original microwaves, instead of like takes a minute to heat up a cup of coffee, it took like 5 seconds. So what I'm thinking is, if you get a room-sized microwave, if you do a room-sized microwave, then I'm thinking you could probably kill a person in 1 second. If it can boil a cup of water in 5 seconds, then it'll kill you in about 1 second, probably. That's pretty quick. Love Who used to be okay, not impressed anymore. Well, that's on the agenda. Love Who, pick up your game. Your failure is bugging people. So if you see him around right now, tell him he's missing the meeting. He's gonna have to send me a substantial check as a penalty for missing this meeting. I don't want your money, guys. I want your attendance at this meeting. The fines are just for people who don't attend or who say things I don't like. No, I'm not. No, microwave a bunny. Your microwave is 1.3 kilowatts. Wow, that is a really powerful microwave. I wonder. I wonder how long it takes to heat up a frozen dinner. Like 1/10 of a second. What I really want to do is I would like to cook I would like to cook either s'mores or hot dogs that are stuck onto a stick or something along the line like that over the Korean fusion reactor that gets up to 100 million degrees. Typology community meeting mandatory attendance optional? No, the mandatory attendance is mandatory. Okay, don't try to get out of it like that. Will something be done about the growing barbarian hordes of ESFPs who self-identify as INFJs? Dulles 1969 has that to add to the typology community meeting agenda. But again, we really need to tackle the central issue of how do we both acknowledge the primacy of type as a group label while concurrently not falling victim to the same kind of stupid reducing of other people that other groupist things do. It's like I ran afoul of this last night when I was shitting on ESFPs and I got called out on it by pissed offerson. He just perpetrates shallow stereotypes. Yeah, he's just trying to make successful videos to get a lot of views. And, something I was talking about with Rachel earlier is the way that people. The conversation started with me saying, I've determined over time that I process language much faster than the average person, I guess. And I can process a lot more of it in a sitting than the average person. So what I really need to do and remember is if I'm not communicating in a way that other people are configured to receive, I'm just smoking my own pipe, Yeah. See, that's the kind of stuff I don't want to support here with psychology. Heretofore, unfortunately, psychology has very much played into good mother's thing there. I think your grouping's been great. Gives me targets for the re-education camp. That's like typically the problem with psychology stuff is it ends up being normative. And the problem with typology currently is that it's still too normative. Why is it that ESFPs self-identify as INFJs? Because we haven't balanced type descriptions. So it's like the average type description of the ESFP should be just as appealing a character to be as any other. And then people would be less likely to, swarm to ENTP and INFJ and shit, and INTJ too. It's like those are the three main ones. People want to pretend to either be INTJs, INFJs, or ENTPs. What distinguishes the ENTPs from ESTPs? Life syncrotic gives you the NI answer there. Intuition. Oh, I got a lot of it. And only sometimes is it good. They have a little bit of it, and only sometimes is it good. Intuition is the capacity to know the complete version of a pattern when presented with an incomplete version. Intuition is the process, is the attentional manner that fills in the blanks and gives you the conclusion. So if you have very little intuition, let's say you use intuition very infrequently, and that would be somebody like an ESTJ uses intuition not very frequently in any meaningful sense. So in that case, he will need to see almost all the pieces of a puzzle before he figures out what's it a picture of. And somebody who's got very active intuition will be sort of attempting to know what the final picture is as the puzzle's being put together the whole time. Whereas the non-intuitive person will be focused much more on the trees and much less on the forest. Well, this piece probably goes here is because this piece probably goes here, involves some intuition as well, recognizing that this shape looks like that hole. But then if you see introverted intuition in the fourth slot, what you'll find is that it plays out as misidentifying patterns a lot. So if you see A, D, and G, and jump to the conclusion that the word must be adding, when really the word is Addingtonson or something like that, then you're using NI carelessly, in a sense. Like you're allowing your NI to, or your NI is jumping to conclusions too soon about what this yet to be filled in pattern will turn out to be. So NI fourth people will tend to, hooray, I found it, the Holy Bible of Truth, and then disavow that not that long after. They're susceptible to eureka moments that aren't actually reality, like that don't turn out to provide any eurekas. Cognitive types is a system where he justifies typing based on physical actions and attributes by claiming if you reduce a cat and a dog to 3D models, you'd be able to tell them apart by just actions. Well, okay, but we're not trying to tell cats and dogs apart, right? We'd need a system that would say, allow us to tell two ENTPs apart from two ENFPs, even if one of the ENTPs is a dog and one is a cat, and even if one of the ENFPs is a dog and one is a cat. It would correctly segment them by type, not by species, right? So that's a bad analogy. And if he justifies it with just that analogy, it's going to have to be a good analogy at least, You're careless and absent-minded. I mean, the thing is, of course, it always really depends, doesn't it, on what we're doing and what we're focusing on. So I'm careless and absent-minded too. But I'm not careless and absent-minded with my writing. Spacey may or may not have adopted some alternate approaches to typing since I've worked with them. He was at least trained initially in the correct way to think about cognitive functions. He began to deviate from that pretty quick on, and I've caught a couple of mistypes by him, but his mistypes are probably less frequent than most people's. He has kind of a vested interest, I think, maybe in differentiating from what I'm saying. But as a TI Dom, I would expect him to basically either agree with me on everything I'm saying or not have heard that part yet from me. It seems unlikely that he would let his FI make him be wrong just to differentiate. I don't know. He's too smart to be wrong for other reasons. Well, what if you're wrong, Eric? Well, tell me, make the argument. If that's the argument, I'm definitely not. I mean, look, the bottom line is we have a system, we have a reality in which there is affect and behavior, right? So affect is the identity you present to the outside world. Behavior is examples of physical actions and or metaphysical actions that people take in given situations. So the problem is a great deal of the behavior in which a human engages is not visible to an outside party. So at least half of the time during the day, I'm not speaking out loud, but I'm always saying words somewhere, either in my head or out loud. So at least half of the time, my behavior, saying words, is not visible to you. Even if it were the case that we could, with just that piece of information, somehow derive the rest of the necessary information and type somebody, there wouldn't be any reason to exclude the other kinds of ways that people express as being. So it kind of boils down to this. If you want to get typology right, you have to say, well, what are the kinds of ways that people express their being through time? Some of the time, people talk. Some of the time, people listen. Some of the time, people ask questions. Some of the time, people break things. Some of the time, people dig holes. Some of the time, people feel a stomach ache. It's like you have to account for, in cognitive functions, all the ways that people pay attention. So right off the bat, you'd say, whatever process analysis we're going to use to figure out what type somebody is has got to have some access to data beyond that which is visible to others. Well, the argument I made there up in place 48 was it is conceivable that Spacey has an interest, so to speak, in deviating from what I'm saying. That is to say, having, in rather dramatic fashion, blown up his relationship with me in order to stay, in order to prioritize the interests of, what's her name? Tori. And then not long thereafter, torpedoed that relationship with Tori when he realized I had been right all along, right? But I don't think he particularly is enthusiastic about trying to repair the relationship with me, perhaps in part because he doesn't think I'm open to it, although I've made it clear I am, or maybe because it's a lot of uncomfortable realities there, that either have to be talked about or not or whatever. So, what if we reunited on one of Joyce's vids? I mean, like I always tell everybody, I am very down to collaborate with just about anybody, any other YouTuber, in just about any other way. All anybody has to do is ask me to make a video. If somebody says, hey, Eric, I'd like to make a video with you about meow for my channel. Is this day and this time okay? 80% chance I'll say, yeah, let's book it right now. We're done. And I'll be there to collaborate with you. The problem is everybody tells me things like who I should collaborate with or whatever, but nobody ever asked me to collaborate with them. And you might say, well, why don't you ask to collaborate with them, Eric? Well, the only way I want to collaborate with anybody really at the moment is, at least in the typological community, would be in ways that aren't about typology. Because the problem with me collaborating with anybody in the typology community is it's an inherently adversarial position I have. My position is I'm right, they are wrong to the extent they disagree with me, and that I'm exclusively right, and that their wrongness is muddying the waters. So that's hard to have a collaborative video on typology with somebody else when you think that about them, right? So I would be happy though to collaborate with any video maker about my presidential campaign or basically anything else, or about typology with any non-typology community one, or with anybody who at least isn't attached to a specific system and is willing to hear things through my frame of reference and hear me tell them why my frame of reference is best. Does type loosely correlate with sports preferences? I assume most ISTPs into sports prefer baseball, or at least watching it. You know, Rick, Julie, I don't know what to say about that. I'm an ENTP. I think in general, NTPs correlate with less interest in at least watching sports. I think a fair number of NTPs like to play sports, and some of them even get to be top level. For example, Andrew Luck is an example of an ENTP that was a professional quarterback in the NFL, America's professional football league, you know? So I say that for the non-Americans who might be here. This is called Stop Always Thinking Everyone's from America, Eric. Okay. It sounded like I was fishing for a debate contender. No, I'm not. I'm not fishing for a debate contender. I'm willing to debate anybody about anything except typology. I don't like to debate about typology. And the reason is I am happy to explain to you the right way to do it. Then have you negate that. That's fine. I'm happy to have anybody come in and try to negate my approach to it. And then I will affirm it. What I don't want to do is have to start arguing something about typology only to discover, hold on a second, we're not even using terms to mean the same thing. We're gonna have to define a bunch of terms, and you're operating on a frame of reference where you don't even consider what kind of thing this is that we're talking about. Like, how, if we're talking about citrus fruits, then we're gonna concern ourselves with certain subtopics: color, taste, juiciness, sourness, smell, things like that, things that are relevant to a fruit. If we're talking about a model of cognition, then we need to understand certain things. So it's like, if I start talking about a model of cognition and you begin talking about the subject in a way that reveals that you think type determines functions rather than the other way around, then I know we're a long way from having a meaningful conversation, right? Nathan is an ENTP based on what? I typed Nathan originally as an ENTP. I shifted to be equivocating a bit on it, or not equivocating. So I guess you could use word like that. But I think he might be an INTP. He's one of the two. He's either an ENTP or an INTP. Isn't debating other inevitable goals to eliminate false information and mistyping? Well, the thing is, sure, but nothing good happens if a quantum physicist has a debate about the nature of observation with a sixth grader. The nuclear physicist can't even begin to engage meaningfully with the sixth grader about the subject because the sixth grader doesn't know how to talk about quantum physics with precision. In other words, he doesn't know any of the math of it, and he doesn't right? So it's equivalent here. It's like, there are issues in typology that are worth debating. Like, for example, the issue of how an interface function and a knowledge function pair up differently than an action function and a deliberation function. I'd be willing to debate the point that, in some sense, interface, if you're interface knowledge, then you can never really do either one of those without concurrently doing the other. Whereas if you're deliberation action, you can do one and the other in separate stages, or it's like, in other words, I can plan how I'm going to approach a given debate ahead of time and then do all the debating in real time and just executing things I've already decided ahead of time. So it's like, if I can do a good job of anticipating the possible arguments, then and prepping out responses, then it's conceivable that I could go through an entire debate never having to make a single decision. That all the decisions have been pre-made by me in my planning stage. You want to debate me about feminism? You want to do it right now, good mother? I'll pull up the autonomy room. We won't be able to see you.
Sorry. Is that annoying you?
It's okay. It happens a little bit occasionally, but it's fine. Rachel, here's the key thing to remember. If you don't annoy me occasionally, you are not being selfish enough.
That's good to know.
Yes. Is it annoying a little bit when you're trying to express something and then there's some loud coughing right next to you? Sure.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean I expect you to do anything different, right? It's not like I'm saying, therefore you should go outside or blah, 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 blah. But it's also the case that I don't think like, oh, I love it when you do that. That's so adorable. That's so fun. And that's okay, you know? So it's a good idea to negate your frame of typology, sure, because then they have to actually say, Eric, you say this, and this is wrong because, or ask me questions about it or whatever. I would love somebody to negate my typological approach because then we're talking about my typological approach. What I don't like is when somebody else comes in and says, like when I debated, what's that fucker's name? So World Socionics, Jack from World Socionic Society. When I debated him, that debate's not possible to have. Why? Because the first thing that needs to be debated is socionics. To be honest, the way the route to go would be first I negate socionics, and then we go, okay, socionics is bullshit. So what then, Eric? Then I affirm my model, and everybody tries to negate it. When it sustains against all those negations, then we go, I guess that's the one then, until somebody can negate it. That's the way to do it, right? But the thing is, instead of having that debate, I should have gone in trying to negate socionics, but instead I let it get it just turned out into, to me, chasing Jack around the ring, right? Like trying to pin him down on anything and him trying to avoid being pinned down on anything. Of course, the critical component in distinguishing between a legitimate model and an illegitimate one, that a legitimate model is eager to establish what their definitions and stuff are because they're operationalized, and that that's how you test the model. If you're trying to avoid operationalizing definitions, then you're not having a real model. You're just playing metaphor in pretend land. You had the debate with Jack's online. It just devolves into me, yelling at him for dissembling. That's the word.
So I was asking my dad if the French horn was in like Sgt. Pepper's, and he's like, I think so. But we looked it up, and it actually is in For No One on Revolver. There's a French horn.
For No One?
Yeah.
On Revolver.
Yeah.
Can you hum a few bars of that?
And in her eyes, ooh, ooh, cried to no one.
Yeah, okay. I can't quite hear it yet, but. Okay, Upton Place 48. I got to call this out a little bit here. Everybody in general, can we all put away the narcissist term for people who aren't actually narcissists?
Yeah, there's a big difference.
To be a clinical narcissist is essentially to be a sociopath, okay? So there's no reason whatsoever to conclude that there's anything wrong with Jack, except that He's a young ENTP who hasn't made a distinction yet between rhetoric designed to argue, designed to win arguments, and dialectic designed to eliminate bad arguments. It's a whole different ballgame. Are you trying to win arguments or are you trying to eliminate bad arguments? Well, I gotta say, Jebediah as Emporium, ENTPs are particularly good at metacognating, which is to say objective self-criticism and or applying what they hear to themselves, not necessarily instantly, but after a little time after they move away from a situation, they'll take a lot of stuff away from it that they didn't take away in the immediate, right? So this channel talks a lot about how to police one's own thinking. So I think it unavoidably gives you a big head start over other equivalent ENTPs who are indulging in the most native ENTP thing to do, which is, it doesn't matter if I know nothing at all. I'm right. And by the end of this conversation, somehow, some way, I'll figure out a way to make you think I'm right too, or at least that I won. That's the default ENTP way when you're a kid. And when you're a kid, of course, you end up winning arguments about all kinds of fucking bullshit, because you haven't yet decided to care about the truth, and you haven't yet graduated to the right level of FE in some sense. At the right level of FE, you spike out things that come back to bite you in the ass, right? So I was watching a video briefly last night because Unify.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Because it's okay, Rachel. It's fine.
Hello. I catch myself.
Oh. Unify started showing up again. Unify is this guy from Detroit that I visited. He has his own YouTube channel. You can check it out if you'd like. It's called. I checked it out yesterday, but I forget what it's called at the moment. I'll try to get a link to it. He's got like 100 some subscribers, and anyway, that made me want to go review a video of me talking with Unify in a hotel room in Detroit, in an MGM Grand hotel room in Detroit, and after about a minute of watching that, I just, fuck you, Eric, I fucking hate you, and closed the thing, right? Because I didn't like how little space I was giving him to talk, even though I'd driven all the way to Detroit to see the guy. It embarrassed me. I felt ashamed of myself. And the thing is, it really helps to watch yourself a lot, because I don't remember it happening at the time, but I'm sure it did. Back at the time, I'm sure I also had a kind of at least similar reaction to watching it after I published it. Like, God, Eric, you talk too much. If you're talking to another person anyway here on the video, you're definitely talking too much. And I've gotten a lot better about that when I'm talking one-on-one with people. My one-on-one conversations with people are much more self-aware than I used to be. So that's kind of an important thing, And the critical thing to note is I had to see it from a viewer's perspective in order for the takeaway to stick. So it's like because I'm extrovertedly intuiting, I'm not knowing from experience how I play very much concurrently, because the SI is in service of the NE, not the other way around. Let's see. So Who has the roll sheet? Winston's mom, you're keeping roll, right? Have you seen Megan Lavota yet? Or Lijo? C.S. Joseph? Cognitive types guy? You seen any of them here? Because I sent them a warning email. If you do not show up, you will be fined $4,800. It's a huge fine. So they better get here. They've already incurred a late fee. They've returned their metaphysical library books late. What's their library book? It's the book called I Have to Go to That Mandatory Meeting and Return This. Alex Rodriguez, whew, you don't have to pay $4,800. Congratulations. You're here. Emailed Anthrax, you're here. It's everybody who's here who should be most furious because you followed through, you did your responsibility, you did what you had to do, you came to this mandatory meeting. The other people are free riders, so you should be out there with your pitchforks and torches yelling at them to send me $4,800. Thank God you're here, Marge. I really didn't want to find you because you rarely miss a meeting. So it'd be a shame if you missed a mandatory one, I have not seen any celebrity impersonators or their real life counterparts. I will ask the flying owls to check their post office box and warn them to watch for flying monkeys. I'm not planning on throwing any monkeys at anybody, okay? Dallas 1969. I'm gonna let it slide since Morge actually showed up here. But don't cover for people. $30 for one letter? What does that mean? What do you want me to type you, but you only want to pay $30? Okay. Are you ready to do it right now? I'll type you in full for free if you do it right now.
I want to know, do you think that my, because I don't really consider myself to be the best, typologist, is that ignoring any?
I mean, I think you are, oh yeah, Upton Plates is in front of you in line. Okay, Upton Plates, come on.
Let's do it.
Go to autonomy. We're not going to be able to see you. If you want to be seen, I will stop this stream and start one with the software.
Yo, Eric, do you mind if I join this one?
No, not at all.
Oh,
he's not coming. He's not coming though. He says he's shy.
I see. That's a shame.
You put in
Come on, Upton Plates.
Yeah, what's
you
up?
put in all that work into prepping me to actually type you for free. You successfully repeated the notion frequently enough that you got what you wanted. And now you're going to lose it. And then guess what? Next time you get your courage back up again, I'm going to be like, no, you played, you cried wolf last time.
You know what?
I will say that sounds like some any ignoring to me though.
I want to say also, Upton Plates 48, that I was shy too, but I still did it.
You got 10 seconds. Upton Plates 48. 10. Down to 9. 8. 7.
It could be really fun.
6. There's $100 value you're getting for free. 5.
It's true.
We'll go on a magical journey all together, all three of us, all four.
4.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Alex Rodriguez, if you come in here right now, then fine. Fine.
Then that's fine too.
3. It's because I'm going to leave the autonomy room in a second. I just go in there to wait for the guy I call to go in there. They don't go in there right away. I'm just like, why? Man, I don't like not right now. Not right now sucks in general. Right now is always pretty cool, though. It's much better to do it this way.
Talk is the best way to go.
I had worked like a 50-hour day too.
Hi, Sean.
I'm totally lying. That can't be right.
You're probably just stuck outside all day.
No. I had been working at the camp.
Oh, you've been working at the camp. Well, to say that you worked a 50-hour day is not a lie, because it's clearly a hyperbole, since there's no such thing as a 50-hour day. Hi, Sean. Good. I don't have to fine you. I was going to have to fine you $4,800 if you didn't show up.
Oh, which Sean is this?
What are we mandatorily meeting about? Well, number one, we're mandatorily meeting so that you can avoid paying me $4,800 in fines for missing the meeting. But number two, we have important typological community issues to discuss. We're considering making the official animal of the ISFP the porpoise. There's a resolution that's on the table right now that's open to debate. There are some who say no, let's pick a different animal. So some say no, you shouldn't have any animal, let's negate. Some say yes, we do think the ISFP's official animal should be the porpoise. Those are basically the sides.
I think your Huckleberry is calling you out of Dumb Place 48.
I like hummingbird for ISFP.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about. It's these hummingbird fanatics that are the problem in this country. If it weren't for them and their beliefs.
Bald eagle fanatics that are tearing it
I'm not
down.
even arguing for the bald eagle. I'm arguing for the porpoise.
I apologize. I assumed that your appearance.
This is the kind of lies I've come to expect from your group of people.
I have a question. What's the difference between a porpoise and a dolphin?
Good question. Porpoise.
I actually don't know that.
Porpoise sounds a lot more like the word purpose than dolphin does.
Yes,
True.
It does.
Why is this meeting required under threat of force? Because I want a lot of $4,800 checks. If you miss the meeting, you have to pay me $4,800. It's not quite $5,000, so you shouldn't complain too much. And basically, I made it mandatory because I'm sick of none of the following people have attended any of my recent lectures, which explain why they're wrong. Like Megan Lavoda, Frank James, C.S. Joseph, DSP, cognitive function types guy. They all deserve a $4,800 fine. Why? Because they haven't attended any of my recent lectures. Now, Lijo, I'm really hoping she shows up because she does occasionally come around. It would be a shame for me to have to fine her $4,800 for missing the mandatory meeting. After deliberation, emailed Anthrax is casting his vote in favor of the porpoise as the ISFP spirit animal.
Oh my gosh, but the thing is that I tested as, I took a spirit animal quiz and I tested as the dolphin. That's why I want to know the difference between the porpoise and a dolphin.
Okay, well, here it is. See, the difference is a porpoise basically goes through life with an interested calculus and uses their extroverted sensing as a tool function. Whereas the dolphin is foremost an introverted intuitor and uses extroverted feeling. So basically, the dolphin's going to be a lot more popular, but it's going to feel as though they have an empty soul. Whereas the porpoise is going to be extremely selfish, but it's self-satisfied. It's kind of a dirty irony.
What's the most grotesque animal?
The most grotesque animal? A gargoyle.
I'd agree with that.
That's got to be ours, then.
I think cuttlefish are pretty gnarly. They just blast people's brains.
It doesn't sound gnarly. It sounds cuddly.
They're cute,
Yeah, it
aren't
does
they?
sound that way.
Aren't they little octopus?
They're the weirdest creature ever. Anything. Yeah, they can do everything. They shoot out this jet, and just kill it.
I believe they're in the squid family.
Yeah.
Okay. But they can actually put on the chessboard and have the squares. They're something crazy.
I go with I like Fomalhat's answer of narwhal is unicorn of the sea, and it's quite a strange one.
I think the seeping discharge slug is kind of gross. Seeps a lot of discharge. That's like the banana slug, actually. If you ever get banana slug goo on your hands, it is super hard to get off. Okay, one of the worst experiences I ever had on taking mushrooms was we took a bunch of mushrooms, we went out to the forest behind Santa Cruz, and I made the mistake of picking up and playing with a banana slug. It is like picking up and playing with bong resin. You cannot get the shit off your hands.
Oh no!
Now, in normal
This
times,
is why I'm a bong resin wizard right here. I deal with these all the time.
in normal times, it wouldn't bother me that much to have slug goo on my hands. But when I was tripping, when you're tripping on mushrooms, right? It's like,
Yes.
I can't get this off my hands. You know?
Yeah.
I was out in the forest, fumble hot. I didn't bring any rubbing alcohol.
I couldn't figure out how to plug my phone in on mushrooms for a second. I went like TE polar mode or something. I don't know. Weird shit happens on mushrooms.
For people who aren't super big typology community members, the punishment for missing this mandatory meeting is that Oliver Linehan throws banana slug seepage on them.
Oh, that's worse than like getting sprayed with skunk spray. That's worse.
Well, it doesn't smell, but it's sticky.
Oh, I have resin all the time under my fingernails. These 3 fingers.
I've got them currently under my fingernails.
All right, Alex Rodriguez, are you coming in here? Because I was just about to leave this room. I can't believe I've waited here this long.
Come on.
I
Alex
don't like
Rodriguez.
waiting. Waiting is for subjects. I am the sovereign. Those aren't my words. Those are lyrics from Corey's songs.
I knew it was Corey.
Corey's song, The Sovereign.
Eric, you got to listen to one of my dad's songs. He's an INFJ. I think you'll really like it.
What's it called?
Mirror Telescope.
Do you have a link?
I do, in fact. This man is a genius, a quiet genius. So
Okay, I'll check it out right now. But first, let me.
That's how I think of INFJ musicians too.
We are the
twins.
sovereign. We are the angel. No time for granted. Waiting for subjects. I am the sovereign. I wait for no man. That's how that goes. It's really quite an impressive thing of a loop of thing. Yeah, the whole thing is great. All right, Alex Rodriguez, hurry up! I'm like 5 seconds from leaving this goddamn room. So annoying waiting.
I done did it.
Rachel, there was this image when he said I wait for no man of him being like a butler, like waiting on you. It's like a Beowulf thing. It's like just a technicality.
Okay, so if Alex Rodriguez comes in here, I want to start this typing session with Isaiah. Here, put this link. Put this link.
Yes, I'll put this in the chat.
Oh, no, I'm talking about put the link to this thing. Hold on.
Who's G?
Who's G?
Yeah, there was G.
I don't see G. Did G leave?
Yeah.
Okay, G's not any of the other alphabet letters. Let's let Isaiah and Sean take turns asking questions to begin this typing session.
You know what's gaff? I want to tell your dad that there's a Beatles song that has a French horn in it. Is that?
You should tell him.
questions
Go
to
tell
him.
him. He'd be interested in hearing it.
Really?
Yeah. That's the sort of thing he'd like to probably get more of from.
Cool.
You're just going and sharing something with him and saying, I have my own relationship with you, kind of.
Cool. All right.
So yeah.
I have to do it.
Okay, I'm gonna sing this while I'm waiting for Alex Rodriguez again because I want you to really hear how brilliant it is. Na 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 na, da na na na, ba na na na, ba da da da. Waiting for subjects. I am the sovereign. I wait for no man. Na na no na no, ba na 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 na. It's so good.
Corey, stop being Corey. Don't worry about this COVID thing. It's
Is it
don't
audio
worry.
Is Alex here? Alex, is that you?
Yeah.
Okay, Isaiah, you ask the first question, and then when he's done answering it, don't ask another one. Let Sean ask one question. You guys take turns.
I
Okay?
can't see you. What kind of sex were you into?
It don't. God damn it!
Only
Why?
female. Only female.
That's your question, Isaiah. You waste your question on that. Okay, Sean.
Hey, it ended up being not bad of an answer.
Sean, your question.
All right. Can I see your face?
What's not it?
Can I see your face? See your eyes?
Can you see?
That's okay. Yeah, it's not good lighting.
I can't see you guys, so I can't even see myself.
Can you remember, and when your memories, do you remember what you're thinking or more what you're feeling, like from your memories?
Well, usually, if the question is presented to me, I know the answer exactly, but I don't have a good memory. But I do usually remember how I feel about something.
Well, not how you feel about, but like there's impressionist memory, right? Like
Isaiah, your turn. Ask a question.
All right. Do you feel mostly when you get tired? Yeah. Try to make that nonsense into sense.
Wait, you cut out, Isaiah.
Yeah, I feel tired. Like, when you get tired, do you find that you get moody and shit? Nah, quiet. Alrighty.
Sean?
Cool.
Do you like to run down steps?
Yeah.
Isaiah?
That was a great one, actually. So when you get down the steps, do you do a little jump at the end to sort of like skip the last few? Depends on who's around.
Sean?
Good answer there.
Japanese or half Japanese?
I'm Japanese?
No. Preference.
Isaiah?
Full Japanese is more fun, I think. Hey. Okay, you not hear me?
Isaiah?
Oh, you wanted me to ask you another question? I used to. Okay.
Sean?
Like cliff jumping?
What was that?
Would you rather jump off a cliff or climb a tree? And the tree's like 80 feet tall.
Well, I'm like stacked out and jump off a cliff. I don't mind climbing trees.
Isaiah?
If you were stuck on an island with only one weapon and you knew that a bunch of pirates were going to be coming invading and flanking on all sides, which weapon would you choose to fight that battle alone? Suicide suit.
What?
Sorry, say that again. Suicide suit, like explosives everywhere.
Suicide suit, he said. Okay, Sean?
Do you think you're the same type as Tom Cruise's character in Vanilla Sky?
Haven't heard of it.
Okay.
Tom Cruise.
Isaiah?
What do you think is the laziest type besides your own type? INFP.
Okay. Let me ask some questions now. These are very strange questions you guys are asking. Can you tell me 6 different uses for a leftover box for the box that my new microwave came in?
Box. Container.
The box, a container. Okay, a box, a container. What else?
Very miniature room.
Okay.
Cardboard.
Okay. Is that a use of it?
It's like the container that a microwave comes in.
Yeah, it's the box the microwave came in. We got a new microwave today.
That was like a fun trip.
It was fun.
Advertisement. And
Okay. Would you rather or would you be better at finishing a easy crossword puzzle or an easy Where's Waldo?
Where's Waldo? Easily. I hate crossword puzzles.
Okay. Would you rather play poker or chess?
Chess.
Okay. If you're asked to carry furniture into a room, how likely is it that you're going to encounter a piece of furniture that you have trouble figuring out which way to turn it to fit it through the door? Is that something that gives you trouble or not?
Hasn't happened yet.
Okay. If somebody comes to you and they're upset because, say, they've had a breakup, are you more likely to commiserate or suggest solutions?
I used to have a real bad problem with solutions.
So you say you're not very sympathetic?
Wouldn't be my first choice.
I'm sorry, say again, I couldn't hear you.
Wouldn't be my first choice.
Okay, wouldn't be your first choice. Got it. Okay.
No, it's critique, which is a bad idea.
If you are being asked to complete a task, do you want to have clarity about the desired outcome, but freedom with how to get there, or clarity about the steps of things to do and not have to worry about the desired outcome?
Probably would want to focus on the desired outcome and move from there.
Okay. If I were to ask you to fix a broken doorknob in my house and I have all the tools and stuff here, would you be able to do it?
Yeah, I've done it before.
Okay. If you hadn't done it before, let's say it was instead a broken like some sort of plumbing problem.
I've done that too.
You've done that too. Okay. You fix all kinds of shit is what you're saying.
My mini fridge keeps making this noise and it's really annoying me. It keeps on clicking.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's gotta happen.
Okay.
Do you know what might be wrong with it?
Huh?
Do you know can you troubleshoot my mini fridge problem?
What do you mean troubleshoot? Like find out where it's fucked up on the wire? Or?
Exactly, yes. Like if you were here with me and I showed you the problem with my mini fridge here, it keeps clicking.
I can tell you what tool to use if you have it and where it is you would need to strip and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. All right, so what type do you think, based on your answers that you've given, that I think you are so far?
Okay, I would say ISTP.
Okay, that's a possibility. Let me ask you. So, what do you think? If you were right, and I think you're an ISTP, which of your answers do you think would have most led me to conclude you're an ISTP?
Well, there's always that mechanical stereotype. I hate it, but it happens. Pretty much it.
Okay. Can you tell me 6 synonyms for the word mischievous?
Oh, mischievous. Let's see. Naughty. Erratic.
Okay.
Troublesome.
Okay. That's fine. How about this? If A or B and not B, then A. Valid or invalid? If A or B and not B, then A. If dog or cat and not cat, then dog. Valid or invalid? If we get either a dog or a cat and we don't get a cat, can we conclude that we necessarily get a dog? Is he still here?
Hello?
Alex?
No, he's not. Sorry, I was typing in the chat because he dipped as soon as I actually predicted as soon as you said, like right before you said that, he said ISTJ. I said, no way, I'm going ENFP. I think this one's an ENFP. And then you as soon as I said that in chat, you started giving the TI test and dipped. So I think I was right.
Oh, he's gone, huh?
Yeah.
I felt like
Either that or ESFP. Either that or ESFP.
I was thinking ESFP.
That could be right. That very well could be right.
When he did that thing with his face, like he doesn't want to climb the tree. It was like this. It was palpable to me. Like I thought
He was just
dumb and like.
I get that, and I get that from his cadence and everything too. I understand how you could have made that, but I don't know. It's like he seemed incredibly quick. You know what I mean? When I asked him questions,
how can he be ENFP if he can't even like he said the box, and then it's like also a box, and like you turn it upside down, it'll be another box. It's like, you know?
Well, yeah, because he's NI fifth, and he's also
he's not any polar.
cool.
Okay, look, he's not any polar.
I don't think he's any polar. I think he's any fourth.
I instantly got any dong because the reason I went ENFP is because the first thing I thought when he came into the room was this man sounds like an ENTP, and as soon as that alarm goes off, then I know to watch out.
All right,
Well, that's why when I see that.
Look, here's the thing. It's plausible that he was trying to present as ISTP. In fact, I think he was trying to present as ISTP. He was accidentally presenting as ISTJ/ESTJ more, but I didn't really believe necessarily yet that he was an ISTJ or an ESTJ. What I was trying to figure out is basically what kind of things can we eliminate and what kind of things can, well, Diamond, the thing is I did not start this live stream in order to type this person. I wasn't planning on doing a free type or anything, but the circumstances were such that I felt like doing it. It's like that's the reality of it. I do not do free typings as a general rule, but sometimes I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Well,
same exact thing here, pretty much.
All right, so I'm gonna leave the autonomy room. Thank you guys for your participation in this. I appreciate it. Okay. So I have no idea what type that person is because I didn't have enough time to type them. But if, in fact, they intentionally ran away from TI questions, we don't know that either. He may have actually just lost his connection or something.
Yeah, we don't know.
So if, in fact, he intentionally left to avoid the TI questions, that obviously would be suggestive of, TI 7 or maybe 4, but probably 7 because... certainly it's a lot of anxiety and avoidance towards the TI questions, right? If it was intentional.
If that was intentional, yeah. We don't know.
I agree with you, Oliver, and he's not an FE dom.
No. And he's not an NE. I don't think he's an NE dom.
When Isaiah reads that ENFP, I was like, what? Hell no.
So, Tiny Man 66, if you're still here, what looks different is my hair. I dyed my hair black because the green screen cut off my hair when I did it for you guys.
Yeah, the fact is, neither of us thought about it when she dyed her hair blue, but it was a continual problem with the green screen.
Yeah.
It basically made it so we couldn't use the green screen without and have Rachel have hair.
Yeah. So I did it for the art.
You rock some eyeliner
Yeah,
with it?
actually, I'm wearing a little bit of eyeliner right now, actually. I would rock it with some eyeliner. Maybe I'll exaggerate it for entertainment purposes, as in now.
So, term limits are an interesting subject. Because the reality of it is, by and large, people who care a lot about politics support term limits for every district other than their own in reality. In other words, if you ask them questions about what's their position on term limits, and they say, I favor term limits. And then you ask them, all right, who are you going to vote for in this upcoming election? They'll say the incumbent that's been in office 4 terms already. So it's like term limits people don't practice what they preach. And so in that regard, it's either they're saying, force me to do what I can't get myself to do, or they're saying, that even though it wouldn't be a good instance in this case to have term limits applied, it's a net good overall. So my position on term limits is kind of like that in this instance, my choice might be to vote for an incumbent or a new person, and the incumbent may have been there for a long time. In this instance, it might be a good choice for me to vote for the incumbent who's been there a long time. But that doesn't mean that it wouldn't be better if I didn't have that option. Because, in fact, we need new citizens going through the government and holding power fairly frequently. People shouldn't be spending 20 years working as a politician. Like I said, I'm going to do 1 term as president, and that's it. 1 term and out, 4 years. 8 years is a long time. Somebody shouldn't really want to be in government for 8 years. But 8 years, if you want to, fine. If you want to be president for 2 terms, 8 years, okay, I get it. More than 8 years, there are term limits for the president. You can only serve 2 terms. Why shouldn't that same rule apply to all federal 3 branches positions? Now, the Supreme Court, of course, they have lifetime appointments. And the reason for that is to depoliticize, quote unquote, the court. The problem with that notion is that giving them a lifetime appointment doesn't depoliticize the people, the individuals, right? So it's like if a super left president puts into the Supreme Court gets a super left judge in the Supreme Court, and they have a lifetime appointment. Yes, fashions and politics change over time, and so they won't be subject to those changing whims of the time by worrying about being voted out of office or something. That's the idea of it, is that you don't want the judiciary influenced by the voting public to interpret the law in ways that they should interpret it. In other words, it's a check against mob rule. Okay, it's a check against mob rule. But you don't need to have lifetime appointments to have a check against mob rule. And the reality is there would be no less politicization of the Supreme Court if they were appointed to a single 8 or 12-year term instead of a lifetime appointment. I think it's pretty important to have a little bit more, to be less trapped by a single bad decision by a president regarding a Supreme Court judge. So what comprises a good Supreme Court judge? A good Supreme Court judge is mostly driven by the truth. So I can cite a couple of examples of Supreme Court decisions that should be deeply offensive for all of us. That's okay, Alex, it's fine. Like I told them at the time, don't assume he left him on purpose. He could very well have just his phone had gone off something. So yeah, right. He didn't bail because he didn't want to answer those questions. His phone went off. But assume that it is that simple, since that's what he's telling us too. Okay. Anywho, what was I saying? Right. So it's like if for example, I were to be an effective enough president that I could get constitutional amendments pushed through, which would be crazy. It's like an impossible thing, okay, to imagine. But let's pretend I had enough successful polar clout to modify the Constitution as I think it ought to be modified. Well, while I would like to repeal the 13th Amendment, 12th, the one that allows income tax, 14th, 15th. I don't remember. Whichever number it is, the one that says that the federal government collects income tax. I would like to repeal that one, but I probably wouldn't if I were in a position and had a lot of political capital to use. That what I would do and suggest it would be a very good thing to do is amend the Constitution to a single appointment to a term of 12 years for a Supreme Court justice instead of a lifetime appointment. I think that would be a good change. I'd also amend, I guess, the Constitution to clarify the difference between rights, privileges, entitlements, and so forth. In other words, there'd be, for example, we need clarification on privacy. People don't have a right to privacy. There is no such thing. And the reason is because we have to let ourselves use the word right to mean something specific. Because everybody thinks a right is a good thing, it is what it is. It's neither good nor bad, but it's something specific, right? It's like you can't have a right to privacy because any right, definitionally, what does a right do? It confers a duty onto another or others. So if I have, let's say I go to a restaurant, I walk up to the counter at McDonald's, I pay them my money, I order my Big Mac meal, and shock upon amazement of shock, all of a sudden, the manager goes, you know what? We're done. Sorry, we're done serving and making food today. I said, I didn't get my food yet. I already paid for it. Said, well, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Morale.
I would say, no, you have violated my right to the food I paid for or a refund. Okay? Now, is that a universal right? Is that a negative right? No, it's not a universal right or a negative right. It's a contractually attained positive right to something. I have a right to food because I had paid for it. But it's just my right to food, not everybody's right to food. And it's just my right to the food I paid for, not all the food, right? So that's a positive right. See, but it helps us see how a right confers a duty onto somebody. My right to food is the same thing as McDonald's duty to provide me food. A negative right also confers a duty onto everybody else. So my right to free expression is actually your duty not to punch me in the face to stop me from saying what I want to say. Okay? There is no right to privacy, though. If there were a right to privacy, I could invoke it right now, and you would all have to close your eyes and go like this, or turn off the stream, or something like that. A right to privacy would confer way too much power on every individual over the behavior of every other individual. So if I say I have the right to collect up to 10% of your flesh. If that were the case, then everybody else would have a duty to allow me to cut up to 10% of their body away. So that would be obviously not a right that would universalize, because if everybody had that right, then everybody would have to allow themselves to be chopped away at least 10%. And all it would require is anybody else to invoke that right. They'd have to stand there. If they wanted to be a moral, upright person, they'd have to stand there and allow it to happen. So you see, that's why we can only confer duties universally. It makes sense for everybody to have that duty. For example, the right to silence. The right to silence is a universal duty to others to not compel me to speak. And the right to silence is pretty important to the fundamental understanding of there being a freedom of conscience. Now, the thing is, a right to silence is a duty upon others to not force you to speak. But that right to silence is not universal. In other words, sometimes courts subpoena somebody and say, if you do not speak the true answer to this question, we will put you in jail. So, well, I'm addressing the question of, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Octavia Silva, and no offense taken. I forgot what question I was answering. Oh, what I would do as far as the Constitution. The point is, so in other words, like, nobody should ever say everyone has a right to health care. In other words, no matter what your position on that is, you should argue it honestly, which is to say, my position is that every citizen is entitled to health care. It's an entitlement that the government has a non-universal duty to provide it. That's fine. If I drove by on the freeway and I saw billboards that said everyone has an entitlement to health care, they wouldn't make me angry at all. I might or might not disagree with them, but at least they wouldn't be saying every duck is a Protestant. You know? It's like, how offensive is that on a big billboard? Everyone has the right to health care. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, then everyone has the duty to provide health care on demand. So I could go up to you and say, I need you to spend some time fixing this little boo-boo on my foot. You need to fix me up. Go ahead. What's that? Oh, fuck. Hold on, guys. He's invoked his right to health care. I've got to provide health care to this guy right now. Fuck you, dude. Why do you got to invoke your right to health care right now? This is a rodeo. We're going to go get more beers. I hurt my toe. But why do you invoke it from her? Because she looked like she knew what she was doing. I'm warning you, dude. My arm's starting to hurt. My arm's starting to hurt real bad. You wouldn't do that. That's just spiteful. I would. Okay, you're fixed, man. You're not done, buddy. My arm hurts now. I invoked my right to health care. Dude, I was serious about my toe. You're just pretending. I'm not pretending. Okay, let me check it out. Puts on the circle thing that you listen to.
The ear stuff.
You know, the one that you put your things here and has a circle?
Yeah.
What's that called?
What is that?
What's that thing called?
Stethoscope?
I think that's the thing you look in people's ears with.
Oh, yeah. That is. What is it?
So, okay. There is a there's one of the two examples where the Supreme Court chose to shit on truth, justice, and the American way.
Oh, it is stethoscope.
Stethoscope is for heart listening? Okay, yeah. So it was a stethoscope. Okay. The Supreme Court made an appallingly, shockingly shitty decision on Obamacare. They had only one real choice there, which was to say, compelling every American to purchase health insurance is beyond the powers of the federal government. Period. That's their only constitutional choice. The logic, the strained logic they had to use to justify the decision that they rendered, it makes me want to shit my pants. They said that, it's okay because this is not actually a mandate from the federal government that compels individuals to purchase health insurance. This is actually a tax policy in which people pay an additional tax if they don't have health insurance. Of course, if it is a tax, then it is within the power of Congress to pass that law. However, if it is a tax, it has to tax something. It can't tax nothing. If in fact nothing is being taxed, that's called a penalty. You're getting a penalty for a tax penalty for not buying health insurance. So what did John Roberts do as the main guy? What's it called? Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. He's like, how can I give Obama what he wants and save some shred of constitutional justification? Well, of course, that was the worst thing you could possibly do, because if in fact the federal government can force me to buy health insurance, just as long as they call not having health insurance a tax, then it can force me to buy anything. It can force me to do anything. All I have to say is not doing or not buying that thing is taxed. That's why traditionally there's an understanding that you can't tax nothing. Now, let's imagine we were to ignore the constitutional issue and buy into the individual mandate and say, okay, fine. The individual mandate is what we're going to go with. Great. If we were to pair legislation with the individual mandate that maximally made the individual mandate effective at what it is designed to do, which is eliminate free riders and thereby drive everyone's health expenses down, then the individual mandate would mandate a bare minimum kind of health insurance called catastrophic health care insurance, which provides you no benefits because it's very high deductible until and unless that deductible is paid, but then pays for everything after that high deductible. Catastrophic health care insurance. That would actually solve the problem of free riders. It would also solve the problem of overuse of the healthcare system. High deductible insurance plans dissuade the individual who owns them from using them with their high deductible. So people only go to the doctor when they actually need to. Unfortunately, if you've got insurance that you pay a certain amount for the insurance, and you're going to pay that amount no matter how much you use the insurance, then you lose money if you don't use the insurance a lot. That's incentivizing people to overuse the healthcare system. When it's never individuals paying for healthcare, but always insurance companies, doctors have no reason to keep costs down. And patients have no reason to limit their use of the doctor's offices to when they actually need to. So you have all these unnecessary tests and procedures because, after all, nobody's paying for it. It's just the insurance company. What did Obamacare do? Obamacare put in place a completely back-assward system that's unconstitutional and sets bad precedent. Namely, it mandates that health insurers provide lots of shit as a minimum to buying a plan that qualifies. So even though the purported problem that was being solved, namely free riders, the hospitals have to treat you if you come in with trauma, but you have no way of paying anything. Well, with catastrophic healthcare insurance plans, then the hospitals don't have to cover these free riders, and the individuals don't have to go out, mortgage their business, sell their house and everything just to pay their medical bills, right? They have a sudden, fairly substantial expense, $4,000 or whatever, $3,000 as a deductible, but everything after that is paid for. I got a haircut. I cut my own hair, actually.
He did a good job, especially for doing it himself.
Thanks, darling.
You're welcome.
So as a consequence, we've driven up healthcare expenses or kept them approximately the same. It is true more people have healthcare. Is it true that health insurers being able to, whether or not they can reject somebody with pre-existing conditions is a significant issue or problem? Yes.
I'm lucky because I find Eric attractive no matter what.
Thanks, Rachel. I gotta say, I really like the black hair a lot.
Thank you. I'm glad you said. I'm calling it my Lou Reed phase.
You're waiting for your man. $26 in your hand. He's never early. He's always late. First thing you learn is that you're going to have to wait. Lou Reed's cool. He earns like, in terms of the all-time cool public figures, let's make a list of all-time coolest public figures, okay? Let's make this list right now. Starting in, okay. Let's have a list that has three. This is a list of, we're going to limit it to cool Americans, okay? So we have some sort of scope that is constrained a bit, okay? Cool Americans.
Cool Americans.
And we're going to break the list into 4 eras, okay?
Ooh.
So we're going to, cool Americans from 1776 through 1846. Cool Americans from 1847 through 1940. Cool Americans from 1940 to 1990. And cool Americans from 1990 to 2021. Okay, so now here's the thing. This is not when the cool American was born. This is when they were cool. So, let's say you made the mistake of thinking that in his time, you could correctly say that in his time, this is not a mistake. You can correctly say that in his time, what's his name? Hey, Mr. Dylan. Bob Dylan was very cool in his time. And you could say he's an example of a representative of coolness in his time. And I want him on this list of his time because I think he's a good representative of that time period's cool. I would say
in America, right?
Yes, America, right? So the thing is, the key point to take away here is that Dylan does make the list of possible choices you could include on here, but you would be wrong to include it because Dylan's not actually cool. So it's like the alternative to Dylan would be somebody like Lou Reed, who has timeless cool, whereas Dylan only had temporal cool. And even that was questionable. All right, so we're looking at cool people. Let's start. You can start wherever you want, and I will add them to the list. We're going to have a list of a total of 12 people. So we get 3 people for each era, okay?
1776, I feel like Washington was pretty cool.
Okay, there's been I just put the nominations first. We'll have to cut it down to 3. We have 1 nomination for George Washington. We're making a list of coolest 3 Americans for each of 4 eras, okay? Coolest 3 Americans who were cool during the period of 1776 to 1846. Coolest 3 Americans who were cool during the period of 1847 to 1940. Coolest 3 Americans who were cool during the period of 1940 to 1990.
We got to vote for Ben Franklin.
We gotta beat Franklin, okay.
Yeah.
He was pretty cool.
He was pretty cool. He actually traveled. It's a big deal.
TJ, we got Thomas Jefferson. He was pretty cool.
Yeah, he is cool.
Let's see, 1846. So, okay, we're talking about
Bill Gates. I know he's known as a nerd, but he's pretty damn cool for like Windows.
Rachel. Bill Gates was not around in 1776
No,
to
I
1846.
know, but he didn't say we didn't have to go in order.
I'm joking. Just joking. So, okay, was Bill Gates cooler in 1990 or is he cooler today? When was Bill Gates cooler?
That's a good question. I think. Oh, that's tough.
James Monroe. You want to include Monroe in that first group there?
He's known. He's definitely known during that time. What about for 1847 to like 1940? Who was in charge of the railroad?
Okay, well, 1847 and 1940. You're talking about. You got 2 wars in there.
Oh.
You got the Civil War and World War I.
Okay, so obviously Lincoln.
So you probably. So was Lincoln really cool, or was he just effective?
Know. He was very.
I'm gonna say
strange. He was a strange dude.
I'm gonna say Robert E. Lee was cool. Now remember, being cool doesn't necessarily mean you'd rather hang out with Robert E. Lee than Abraham Lincoln. Okay.
He went down with that ship. He really did.
I don't think Lincoln was cool. I think Lincoln was somber and it's probably like the Eeyore.
Okay, you're
Eeyore
right.
plus top hat.
See, I'm having trouble. What about like one of those voting women? Were they cool?
Oh, you mean Susan B. Anthony?
Yeah.
She was pretty cool.
Was she?
Yeah, she was pretty cool.
Okay.
I like Susan B. Anthony. I'll put Susan B. Anthony in. Susan B. Anthony went to jail because of her insistence on voting and stuff.
Yeah.
And she has a pretty cool speech she gives that I've heard somebody give in debate as a what do you call it? Declamation speech. That's what it's called. Declamation.
Teddy Roosevelt?
Okay, so this is the metric. Who do you want to drink or smoke weed with? Okay.
Oh.
That now we've narrowed it down. Now we really Grover Cleveland. What year was Grover? James K. Polk was 18. Okay, so James K. Polk. J.K. Polk. Grover Cleveland. Why are we only making presidents cool?
But this is what I'm trying to ask. When was like I want to pick like Carnegie or like Rockefeller.
Okay, well, Carnegie and Rockefeller are going to be in here too, sure.
I mean,
Carnegie. Do you think that'd be fun to drink with or smoke weed with? I don't know which of the original Rockefeller's first name is, you know? Like
probably drink with. They used to race. I know. Who lives on Long Island? The Vanderbilts. Actually, the Vanderbilts might be cool. That the Vanderbilt family. They used to race cars on Long Island. I don't know.
Well, for a brief time, they were a staunch competitor against the other kind of James. Yes.
What about Fitzgerald and
that's Scott Fitzgerald?
Yeah.
That's a good choice. Who was the first Carnegie? F. Scott Fitzgerald.
You're right, Sean Ryan Bamber. I haven't mentioned one.
Okay, well, let me tell you about F. Scott Fitz. F. Scott Fitzgerald it was kind of childish in general.
Yeah.
If you've ever read the short story "A Diamond as Big as the Ritz," you'll see just how childish he really is. His fantasy worlds included slavery and well into adulthood, whereas my fantasy worlds had to give that up at like age 6 or something. I was like, that's not gonna work. God, I have to deal with all these complicated issues. Fuck it, I'm not gonna enslave people.
What about
Hemingway definitely makes it. Okay.
Yeah, Hemingway definitely.
Is this the? Do we want to include a World War One person of some sort?
I don't know any.
How about Amelia Earhart?
Okay, Amelia Earhart definitely.
Amelia Earhart. She got so fucked over. That's the funny thing is, I don't know if it was just bad luck or somebody didn't really care, but this woman, when her plane got lost and she went down, she pulled this crazy MacGyver shit that got them the information they needed to find her, and they still didn't find her.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, those ladies, they're always crashing in the ocean. Whatever.
There was like a reflection or something. Oh, I don't even want to talk about it because it makes me so sad.
Tesla. We gotta put Tesla on this list
Tesla.
here. This late 19th, first half 20th century here is getting crowded. Remember, we have to cut each of these down to 3.
Okay, so how about do you think Eisenhower would be someone who would be cool from?
See, I don't think Eisenhower's that cool.
I don't think he is either. McCarthy?
We're talking about 40 to 90?
Yeah.
Oh, 40 to 90. Well,
Kennedy?
As far as people you want to drink or smoke weed with.
I don't want to smoke. Well, he was such a philanderer.
Who?
John F. Kennedy. I don't think I would want to drink or smoke with him.
Well,
Because of
if I'm there, it's fine.
Okay.
I won't let him get on. I'll school the fuck out
He
of
seems
him.
pretty fucking cool.
All right, so let's put
James
JFK.
Dean seems fucking cool.
James Dean does seem cool. I agree. James Dean. What about Jimmy Dean, the sausage maker? Steve McQueen?
Steve McQueen, yeah. He's
Very cool guy.
Too, yeah. Wait, is he? Yeah, but we keeping it American.
Steve McQueen's not American?
I don't think he is. Is Steve McQueen American? I don't know. I know that.
Well, remember the people you want to smoke weed with or drink with or watch a football game with or whatever, I think Tesla would be funny to watch a football game with. No, you sit your butt back down there, mister. You are watching football like a regular person.
Is British, yeah. Okay.
He's British? Okay, so get rid of Steve McQueen. You're excluded from being British, but hey, props for making the list even though you're British.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
You must have been a cool guy, okay. Wait.
Oh!
American.
Okay,
American.
so American.
Steve McQueen gets back on the list.
On the list.
Kim Hills.
Cool, I didn't know that.
The founder of the North Korean dynasty? I'll put him down.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, he might be interesting to drink with. I think he was like genuine, like communist ideologue. Probably be pretty boring to drink
Frederick
with. Really.
Douglass. I would chill with him.
Frederick Douglass?
Yeah.
Okay, where is that? What years is he?
Is
he
I don't know.
1847 to 1940?
I think so.
Yeah, he's here. Fred Doug, they called him, the man with two first names. Okay.
Leonard Bernstein. He's a composer, no?
No, he's the father in the Berenstain Bears. Oh wait, no, I've got this one. That's Papa. Forgot. Leonard, Papa. They sound very similar. Bernstein. Yeah, the crazy thing is, half of the people in the world remember Leonard Bernstein as Leonard Berenstein.
You know what's weird? I have two for 1990, 2021. Carson Daly and Justin Timberlake. I don't know.
Only is Tesla American? Does he count as American because he lived in America? He was born in Europe, though. I think we got to take Tesla off the list.
He's not.
He doesn't count.
Yeah.
Who was that other guy that flew in the Spirit of St. Louis? The guy who had his baby kidnapped?
We're forgetting.
Oh, yeah. Mark Twain is a very cool guy.
Yeah.
The guy who had his baby stolen. The guy who flew the Spirit of St. Louis and had his baby stolen.
Oh, Lindbergh?
I feel pretty, oh so pretty. I feel pretty and shitty and gay. I feel litty and I always want to feel this way.
You think he's going to join with Gandhi?
God, he'd be so fucking self-righteous.
Yeah, but he's not American.
He's not American, doesn't count. Lindbergh, thank you. That's what I was looking for.
See, I think I would.
Lindbergh wasn't cool, though? Okay. I know. I want to add to this list Nathaniel West. I bet he'd be cool to hang out with.
I think
Sherwood Anderson. I want to hang out with who's that guy with the big cheeks when he blows the trumpet?
Oh, Miles Davis? No.
Satchmo, they called him.
Oh, I don't know. My grandma used to call him Satchmo.
Satchmo. We'll put that.
What's his name?
I don't know. But the kid's just a murderer. I don't want to hang out with him. Snoop Dogg. Okay, we'll put him in the 1990s. Yeah, we're getting in the 90s now. Yeah, that's fine.
That's pretty damn cool.
Snoop. Kurt Cobain, right?
Kurt Cobain, definitely.
Kurt Cobain.
Eminem.
See, I don't know if you'd be cool to hang out with.
Are you serious?
I wouldn't want to hang out with him, but I'll put him on the list. But you're an INFJ and he's an ENTP. So
yeah, I'd be asking about music.
I'd just be like,
right. We don't have to have him on the list.
No, hey, these are nominees right now.
Okay. Oh.
Dizzy Gillespie is the trumpet player. Thank you. I appreciate that. Is he pre-1940, do you think?
Dizzy Gillespie. I think it's like 9. I don't know. I want more people for the 1776, 1846. Like,
Right.
What
happened during the early 1840s? That's the thing we got to think about. The early 1840s, 1812 overture, the War of 1812, Spanish-American War.
Grant?
Was Teddy?
Grant?
No, the Spanish-American War happened later. Huh? When did the Spanish-American War happen? I'm gonna say. Let's see. This is kind of a dull period, I guess. Here, not a lot of stuff going on really during that time. How about HBS? Harriet Beatrice Stew.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one.
Is she the one? She wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin, right?
Oh yeah.
So,
some of those ladies, like the Brontes. When were they?
Those are British. Alex Jones from the 1991. Okay, I'll put him there.
Who's Alex Jones?
Is that crazy guy that talks about crisis actors and how everything we see on the news basically is just a staged, made up lie by the government. Anita Sarkeesian. Who's that? Are they American? Anita Sarkeesian.
Who's that?
Osama bin Laden is not American. All right. I'm going to put in this area here.
I think that a cool one is
Steve Martin.
Yeah, Steve Martin, definitely. What about also the one who he was in one? Actually, both of them are pretty cool. From Blues Brothers.
John Belushi or Dan Aykroyd?
Or Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd's Canadian.
Oh, I thought he's from. Oh.
I wouldn't want to hang out with John Belushi because
he's crazy.
He'd get me in trouble. I'd end up getting into some trouble.
Yeah.
I'd end up doing too many drugs.
I know, he's one.
I'm going to put him here anyway. But
I think others would like to.
John Belushi and I would say a teener of meth and a lot of other substances. Let's say I was still drinking, toss alcohol in the mix.
But see,
that's a 3-day weekend out of everyone's worst nightmares.
See, I think that Marilyn Monroe is cool, but I also don't want to deal with it at the same time. Is that wrong? I feel like she's cool. She's cool. A lot of women think that she's cool. She had a lot of problems because of drugs, also.
I mean,
Princess Diana. Oh man,
Princess
I would totally hang out with Princess Diana.
Princess Di would die.
Yes,
we know this shit. Princess Di.
Marilyn Manson's not cool.
Marilyn Manson is not. I'm not putting Marilyn Manson. Nobody wants to hang out with Marilyn Manson. So these ones.
People keep on saying Teddy Roosevelt.
Only 2 of those people you put there, Greetings Wisdom, qualify for the list. Only Ben Franklin, who's on the list, and Thomas Edison, who's not on the list yet, and Abraham Lincoln qualify for that list.
I'm even trying to think of I mean, I don't like him.
I don't think Thomas Edison was cool, really. I don't really want to hang out with Thomas Edison.
I don't really want to hang out. Even though I thought he was cool during the time, Warhol, everyone thought he was really cool, but I don't think he is. Can we put Lou Reed on there?
Oh yeah, for sure. That would be this one right here.
Yeah.
Lou Reed was definitely one of the cool people between 1940 and 1990. I want to, I don't think Stephen King really makes the list. Teddy Roosevelt,
he keeps on coming up.
Yeah, okay.
Keeps coming up. I think Teddy
Roosevelt goes here 1847 to 1940. Teddy
lot of stuff happened during that time.
Roosevelt.
Wow.
Carl Jung's not American, Winston's mom. Captain William Mercer, superintendent of the Carlisle Indian School. Who's that?
What about Pocahontas? She's American.
Yeah. Well, is she really cool? What did she do? Like, what's cool about her?
She did like merge.
She went to England?
You've never seen Pocahontas? Yeah, she merged the British and the Indian culture together.
What's the Carlisle Indian School?
Or Sacagawea and like the two dudes that she went.
Oh, Lewis and Clark?
Yeah, they're pretty damn cool.
Lewis and Clark and Sacagawea. We're gonna add those to the thing. Okay. What year?
I don't know.
That's good. I think those ones we can put here.
I think we can.
Yeah. Lewis. I'm gonna add them separately, okay? Clark. Or do you get it? You always get them as a team?
Excuse me.
It's like anytime you invite Meriwether Lewis somewhere, you always get Mr. Clark as well. I like Meriwether Lewis's first name. You don't meet a lot of Meriwethers anymore.
No.
You really don't.
That's what I mean, Pocahontas, but no.
Sacagawea's
better.
We do that. I'm sure that's not spelled correctly.
We get it though.
It's like Simon and Garfunkel. No, Simon made a lot of solo records, whereas Lewis and Clark died at the same time, holding hands, watching the sunset over Dover Cliffs on their last vacation to England.
What about Jim Morrison? Is he considered cool?
I wouldn't want to hang out with him. I think he's an ESFP.
Okay.
Put C.S. Joseph on the list. Okay, I'll put C.S. Joseph on the list. It's fair. No, hey, come on. From 1990 to 2021, super cool guys. You got to put C.S. Joseph on that. David Lynch.
I think that
What is
David
that?
Byrne is.
Is that before 1990 or after, you think? David Lynch.
He teeters on both. I know him for his 90s stuff, I guess. It's tough. When did Blue Velvet come out? That's his main movie. Hey, you guys, we don't have to solve this alone. When did Blue Velvet come out?
Edgar Casey. I like the inclusion of Edgar Casey. What years would that be? Would that be 1847 to 1940? Edgar Casey? You an American?
Smoke or drink with? Smoke? But I would want to smoke with them.
I'd like to, obviously we don't drink, so for us it's smoke, but I would like to smoke with Edgar Casey possibly. That would be an interesting one. Hemingway.
Cary Grant. I'd like to.
Cary Grant. Okay.
Yeah.
That one goes here.
He seems like a cool guy.
What about, of course, Frank Sinatra?
Yes.
And let's throw on Dean Martin there. Dean Martin, I bet, would be a great, pleasant
oh my gosh,
company.
so pleasant.
I think Frank Sinatra, you have to be like,
all right, 86 it came out.
Oh, there, Tiger. Let's put David Lynch in the 80s then? Okay.
Mm-hmm. What about Billy Joel? He's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, he is pretty cool. I don't know if he'd be fun to hang out with, really, but
I think he would. I think he'd have some. I don't know.
You get them at their coolest point in their life when you hang out with them. Okay, so it's like
so 80s Joel.
But given this, we have to put Falco here. If you get Falco when Falco's 22, and it's like 1980, whatever.
Can I put Blondie?
Blondie, sure. Also, what about that chick who sings "Kids in America"?
Kim. Kim Wilde.
Yeah, I watched an interview with her recently. She seems really cool. Kim Wilde. She's British though.
Yeah, that's right.
What about Falco's not American either.
Oh, yeah, that's right. No.
Is Blondie British too? Blondie's British too.
No, Blondie.
Jack says Blondie's British.
No, Blondie's not British.
All right, let's see. Blondie.
American punk.
American punk, yeah. Listen to American punk, American punk.
Yeah, blonde. Because I know I'm a big Debbie Harry, like, low-key fan.
Debbie Harry. We're going to put Debbie Harry down
Debbie
there.
Harry's fucking cool as shit.
Her name's not actually Blondie, okay? Her mom didn't name her Blondie. She named her Debbie. You should call her Debbie. Debbie Harry? A-R-R?
Yeah.
Johnny Cash isn't cool. Why is Johnny Cash not cool? Johnny Cash is cool.
Johnny
Come
Cash
on.
is pretty cool.
I think Johnny Cash was coolest in the 40s and 70s, though, not more recent Johnny Cash. So I'm going to put him here. Johnny Cash. Okay.
For the 2000s, can we put Jon Stewart?
Sure. I'm putting Flava Flav in the 1940 to 1990. I want to hang out with him during his maximally cracked out phase.
MC Hammer.
See, I'd be too intimidated by his pants.
Oh, we might get trapped in them.
Dave Matthews. All right, 1990 to 2021. I'd like to hang out with Bill Clinton. He was in the 90s.
Bill Clinton's a good one.
Bill Clinton seems cool. I'm not a girl, so
can we put
he wouldn't shove his. Oh yeah, Carson
Daly.
Daly, and you also wanted to say Jon Stewart.
Oh yeah, Jon Stewart for sure. I think.
What about Stephen Colbert? He seems cool.
Yeah, he does seem cool. Let me think of.
I'd rather hang out. I want to hang out with Ira Glass though.
Ira Glass, definitely.
Jeffrey Epstein.
I love Jeffrey Epstein. I'm trying to think of females.
Jeff, it's so good to see you again.
Carrie Russell seems dope, but I'm.
Oh, cool chicks, 1990 to 2021. I kind of want to hang out with Dominique Young Unique.
Yeah, she seems like an ESFP.
I know, but it's like if I'm gonna have some sort of crazy rap video style evening where we go to the club. Now Rachel will be with me, so be ready, Rachel. We may have to go to some strip clubs and stuff because that's the kind of stuff they do. But
and she's gonna think I'm adorable.
But
she's gonna really like you. It just happens with the ESFPs and me. They think I'm adorable, and
I'll be wanting to give her all the attention, because after all, this is my one opportunity to hang out with Dominique Young Unique, so it's gonna go fine.
It will.
Anthony Bourdain is a good one too. Yeah, he did seem cool.
Joe Rogan.
For a second, and the way your shoe was, it looked like there was a crow standing right there for a second.
Gosh, that'd be so...
startled a bit.
That'd be crazy.
Let's see. Les Claypool. Yeah.
Oprah. I think she's
Oprah.
She's got some stories.
Girl,
I'd smoke weed with her.
Oprah who? You never heard anybody say Oprah who?
Right?
She's a one namer. Penn and Teller. I don't think. I wouldn't want to hang out with them because, too much. It's like I'm not interested in receiving their extroverted intuition.
What about Will Ferrell?
That would be fun.
He seems like a fun guy.
I would like to.
Madonna rather than Oprah from a lot.
I want to hang out with a girl who plays Liza Minnelli. What's her name?
Oh, Kristen Wiig. Yeah, she seems super cool.
Fun. She seems fun to hang out with.
She seems like cool as hell. Like she's dated cool people. Like she just seems like a cool person.
Okay, I'm gonna put her in the 1940 to 1990 area, but I think somebody who definitely deserves to be on this list is Bette Midler.
Oh, can we put Elizabeth Taylor? I think she seems pretty cool.
Elizabeth Taylor? She seems so self-absorbed.
Okay, then we don't have to
no, but hey,
there.
Look,
she is so self-absorbed.
I want to hang out with Dominique Young Unique. She also seems self-absorbed. Yeah. So remember, you're only spending a few hours with the person. Amy Schumer would be fun to hang out with.
Yeah, Amy Schumer would be.
Samantha Bee? No.
I don't think
she would make me cringe way too frequently. And Samantha Bee, the thing is, she's not into her shtick anymore, but she still has to do it because that's her way of making money. And she hasn't diversified or anything. It doesn't work.
I'd like to smoke weed with Jennifer Aniston. I feel like there's I don't think she's cool though. She doesn't seem cool at all. She seems like she tries to be cool.
Is Amy Sedaris known for stealing jokes? I mean, not Amy Sedaris. Amy Schumer. I do want to hang out with Amy Sedaris.
I would totally love to hang out with.
Actually, I kind of want to maybe rather hang out with Amy Sedaris, but I hang out with either of them, no problem.
Whenever I get
Amy Sedaris.
I root for Amy.
Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston seems nice but boring.
She seems right
to me.
She is boring.
Jack White would be interesting, possibly.
Jack White, yeah. John Mayer. I don't like to think of him as cool, but a lot of people.
Amy Schumer's a big joke stealer. Oh well, you should watch this channel. I have shit tons of jokes she can steal.
What about
Keanu Reeves? How could we have forgotten Keanu? Now, here's the real question, though. Do you put him in 1940 and 1990, or do you put him in 1990 to 2021?
1990, 2021,
okay.
Because he's pretty big right now.
Keanu Reeves. But that's enough people. That's enough people. That's too many people by far. We're supposed to cut this down to...
No, Leonardo DiCaprio is not someone who I would hang out with, personally.
I'm not interested in hanging out with Leonardo DiCaprio. I'd rather hang out with Matt Damon. I'm going to hang out with one of those people. Matt Damon seems like a nice guy.
He does, doesn't he?
I wouldn't mind hanging out with Ben Affleck, but I don't want to get him to resume his problems with drugs and alcohol. I don't want to encourage his bad behavior by going and smoking weed with him and then find out that he went on a bender right afterwards or something.
God. I don't even know.
So... there. Now, this is our.
Is Jane Austen also
British?
British.
List of cool Americans.
What about Betsy Ross? She made the flag.
By era. Betsy Ross. I don't know. Do you really want to hang out with Betsy Ross? I don't really know anything about her. Put her there anyway. I just feel.
No, we don't have to. I mean, she just made the flag. That's why I said. What about the one? There's ice cream made out of Dolly Madison.
They made ice cream out of Dolly Madison.
No, she's known for her.
She was a famously popular first lady, right?
Yeah, she was.
Dolly Madison.
She threw a lot of parties.
Everyone likes party thrower.
Mm-hmm.
What's HBS stands for? Oh, Harriet Beatrice Stowe.
Yeah.
Who was the chick who did the Underground Railroad?
Harriet Tubman.
See, if you're gonna have an adventure, that's like the most manga worthy adventure. You go with Harriet. There should be a manga where a group of people with powers get sent back in time accidentally and land on Harriet Tubman's doorstep. And most of them decide to help Harriet Tubman with her Underground Railroad, but two of them go to help the South because they're racists. And then there's a battle and stuff. That'd be fun.
J.K. Rowling would be a cool one too. She's British. So you keep forgetting. Bill Nye I'm not a huge Lance Armstrong fan, but what about Babe Ruth? He was a terrible drunk though. He was a terrible drunk.
Apparently, Ty Cobb was one of the worst human beings ever.
Really?
Yeah, apparently Ty Cobb was a complete asswipe. Lance Armstrong would be kind of funny to talk to just because. Jello Biafra? Okay, I'll put Jello Biafra down.
Who?
Jello Biafra is the lead singer of the Dead Kennedys.
Oh, cool. Yeah, definitely.
What's,
I'm trying to think.
What song did we determine was the same as efficiency and progress is ours once more? Now that we have the neutron bomb, it's nice and quick and clean and gay. Things don't know. But what was the other song that we said had the same melody with?
Oh shit. Oh yeah, it's like the
Happy Days.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Happy days, happy days.
If you're going Mickey Mantle, if you're going baseball, go Mickey Mantle. Mickey Mantle was such a drunk that he had not one but like two livers replaced.
He was like, that's disgusting. And
Morgan Freeman sounds fun.
I was just gonna say Morgan Freeman, and he's been in so many movies.
You could do, having Morgan Freeman available to narrate things for you would be just a great blessing. You could write anything and have Morgan Freeman narrate it, and people go, "Oh, Morgan Freeman's narrating this. I want to see it."
Yeah.
So, the first era, it's a little lean, but
we start moving in on the second era.
Like, I wonder, okay, we'll put here W.C. Fields and silent movie guy, Charlie Chaplin.
Charlie Chaplin.
Is he American?
I don't know.
Buster Keaton. Buster Keaton. Did you Buster Keaton?
Oh, Lucille Ball.
Lucille Ball would be kind of interesting, yeah. Okay, we have plenty of people, Eric. Stop adding more people. In contrast, I don't really want to hang out with Desi Arnaz.
No.
He's so obsessed with being Cuban, for one thing.
This is true.
And that's frustrating. So here's a complete list. I'll share the link. I think I'm going to make a poll that says, notable transracial activist Eric Strauss has announced his intentions to run for president in 2024. Washington Post. That'd be great if that was in the Washington Post today.
Rasputin, oh my god.
Rasputin is not American. I'm not adding any more to the list, okay? We've got plenty. I think what I may do is make a poll today after I finish this stream that says, who's the coolest, which 90s American would you most like to have a drink / smoke with, right? And then I'll list some of the people from just the 90s, for example.
We'll narrow it down.
Yeah, we'll narrow it down.
That's going to be hard.
Get 4 or 5 choices for a poll, though. I mean,
but I have to stay. Hi, Trouble, we see you.
Yes, Trouble.
Oh, handsome.
What a lot of trouble you are.
You are a lot of trouble. It's okay, Pee-Pee. I like to think that when Pee-Pee sits here behind me, that she's benefiting me. That she's protecting me. And you know he's out there, huh?
Well, one thing that,
okay, Pee-Pee, come
that
here.
the cat reveals is how
Right now, too.
How demonstrative your FI is. Like, you periodically make as an activity go, like, spend time with the cat.
I do. I take walks with Pee-Pee. And PP is here, right down here, and Trouble is down over there. He came here for food.
Trouble.
Thank you, Eric.
Are you having trouble saying thank you?
I hope so.
Is that what were you doing Trouble's voice there when you said thank you? How many pets? How many pets are here? Officially, we have Kitty Meow Meow Pants.
That's glorious Regal Beast. Look at her. She's the kitty pageant winner. Oh my goodness.
And we've got Fish in the fish tank, which I
Yep.
can't really show you.
We got Fish in the fish tank.
Trouble is not our cat. He just comes around to be fed by us
Yes.
periodically. And she is a very important
Yeah.
cat. I had her take the empirically established, proven Big Four metric of kitty importances, and she scored high on feline importance, meowing importance, fur importance, and tail importance. So, very, very important kitty.
She is a very important kitty. Oh my gosh.
King Kamehameha. King Kamehameha would be a good addition to that. Kyuk's list is Leif Erikson, Donald Trump, Thomas Jefferson, and Trouble. Yeah, Leif Erikson's not an American, except Kyuk says they count as an American because they discovered America, but that doesn't mean they are American, right? Like, I discovered the moon. That doesn't make me a moon man. Until I noticed it one day, no one prior had thought to look up in the sky at night because, it's dark.
Well, the only reason why I think that.
Kim Il Sung and Princess Di are not American. Thank you.
Shit. Thank you.
Good point.
Good point as well.
Okay. Kim Il Sung and Princess Di. So that keeps us together a little bit shorter.
Yep.
Cool. Any other non-Americans you spot? Let me see. Tell me, Oh, well, that may be the case, but what I'm saying, it doesn't always work that way. Like, I remember the day that I discovered mochis. I'd never seen them or heard of them before. And I was quite struck by how strange and wonderful they were.
Is it mochi?
Yeah.
Mochi's delicious. I used to go to oh my gosh, a frozen yogurt place. I forget what they call it. Red Mango. Yeah, Red Mango. And I used to get just the regular original flavored frozen yogurt and mochi over it. So good. And I used to get mochi ice cream too from Trader Joe's. That was my favorite thing to get from there.
We get Carnegie off the list because he was born in Scotland.
Oh.
Thank
Thank you.
Where was he anyway? There's a pen. And Charlie Chaplin, I guess, is not American either. Didn't know that.
Oh.
So, Carnegie. He may have made a haul, but he's still not an American. Dolly Madison was James Madison's wife. She was famous for throwing parties. She was a lot of fun.
I'd like to hang out with Buddy Holly.
Buddy Holly?
We already got a lot of people.
We already got a lot of people, yeah. Marlon Brando's not on the list yet, no.
No.
I don't think Marlon Brando would be that fun to hang out with.
I don't think so either.
Maybe like, I'd rather hang out with like, who's another one of those kind of 50s tough guy actors? Like,
Oh, Paul Newman?
Paul Newman. I would like to hang out with him, but the thing is, these days, he's just so into his spaghetti sauce.
It's true.
Okay, Paul. Shh. I know your sauce is supposedly so good and everything, and I've got to try your new sauce. Just knock it off, please. Let me talk about something else.
Who glorified Paul's products?
Paul Newman.
My
Newman's own salad dressing. Newman's own
Newman's own it's like Newman's own dressing, Newman's own lemonade, Newman's own pasta sauce.
Pasta sauce, right? That was the one I was trying to remember. I just said, right? That was the first thing. I think it was the spaghetti sauce was the first Newman's own. I believe so.
Wow, I know his salad dressings first. Huh.
Okay, well, it's got to be either one of those two that was first, because those are the two that really kind of survived, right?
And the pink.
The lemonade survives too.
Yeah, yeah. My dad buys everything Paul Newman because he's like, my dad is so FI. He's like, all the donations, because it says on the Paul Newman thing that all the donations go to their charity. If all proceeds go to charity. So FI is like.
After expenses, which include my $4 million a year salary. Okay, what is so cool about Grover Cleveland besides his name? He's obviously has the coolest first name of all of our presidents. There's no disputing that. I can't think of another another president with a better first name than Grover.
Yeah.
It's so you still don't really see many Grovers. Why not?
No. Dr. Phil is not someone who I
You don't
want
want
to
to hang
drink
out with
or
Dr.
smoke
Phil.
with.
Dr. Phil's sanctimony is bullshit. Sometimes he says some smart things, and generally
he does sometimes, but it's just like so. I think over the years the content has gotten less and less like good.
Look, Oliver Linehan, you're only picking Lewis and Clark first because you're getting a 2-for-1 deal.
No way. No way.
Well, you do.
Oh, his son. I thought you said him.
You do
Oh,
get
that's
a
so
2-for-1
sad.
deal.
That's so sad. Vincent's mom. I was gonna say Paul Newman, like he lasted pretty long.
You could hang out with Laura Ingalls Wilder. If you hang out with Laura Ingalls Wilder, you get to spend a full day playing Little House on the Prairie.
Oh yeah, Laura Ingalls Wilder. That's a pretty big one. I don't know if I want to hang out with her.
Go outside and milk the cow, she'll tell you first thing in the morning, 4 a.m. Get your ass up, and she'll have a big hearty breakfast waiting for you.
Doesn't that make me happy to live during these times?
And you'll have a full day of field work.
Oh my goodness.
Fourth era: Joe Rogan, Morgan Freeman, and C.S. Joseph. C.S. Joseph scored pretty high there. Emilio Estevez. How about Charlie Sheen? Charlie Sheen would be kind of interesting to hang out with. But, I would be kind of interested in hanging out with, say, Lil Pump.
Lil Pump?
If you want to party, he'd probably be down to party. I'd be a little concerned about whether I'd enjoy myself hanging out with Lil Pump, because I'm a little worried that he might be one of those kind of caricatures of a successful person at too young of an age.
I think he'd be fine with you. And then you get annoyed and then you leave.
Right, then I get annoyed. Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby.
I mean,
now we're scraping barrels.
Like, put Woody Allen there down or what?
Allen?
Woody Allen.
I don't know. He has so many underage.
He's got a lot of baggage,
charges.
right?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Tough.
Is like Woody Allen hasn't quite been crucified as much as a lot of the other people who've been crucified in the Me Too thing, and it's because, from what I can tell, Woody Allen he always successfully wooed the person into this to willing engagement and everything. He wasn't trying to force anybody. He wasn't trying to leverage his position or something like that. But that doesn't mean he wasn't a pederast. He was a pederast, and or maybe still is. And
yeah, I mean,
he liked them young, you know.
Yeah. No, his wife is like a lot of years younger.
Well, I read an interesting article by a lady who, as an adult, wrote an article about the sexual relationship she had with Woody Allen and one of Woody Allen's other women.
Wives?
Maybe when I forget who it was. I think it was somebody who's famous, but
oh, the one, yes.
maybe Mia Farrow, maybe who knows. But the woman who wrote the article had been the 14/15-year-old girl that had been included in a threesome with Woody Allen and this other woman. And as an adult, she wrote this article like as a 40-year-old woman or something. And she didn't reflect back on the period of time negatively at all. She actually reflected back on it rather fondly and talked about the day she realized that Woody Allen was much bigger than her in some regard, in that he wrote he made a movie and there was a character in it that she thought was a lot like her, and she said to him, "Were you thinking of me when you wrote that?" And he responded by saying, "I thought you might see a lot of yourself in that character." And that's when she realized he understood her as a character kind of in his life as well, that she was there to play a specific role. And so the Me Too movement somewhat conflicted, because I suspect that the women they talk to about Woody Allen don't generally say things like, "Yeah, he's an asshole."
Yeah.
Right? He's probably a lot more.
He's pretty controversial. He didn't have a great relationship with one of his kids.
He's pretty shady.
Yeah.
But I think that he's less easy for Me Too to crucify.
Yeah, but he definitely, I don't think he should make the list just because.
Oh no, I'm not going to put him on the list.
Yeah.
I was just talking about basically why Woody Allen wouldn't make the list. Buzz Lightyear versus Buzz Aldrin. Buzz Lightyear 100 times.
Yeah.
Christian Bale? He's not American.
You know what? I was like on Instagram. They were doing a poll, and it was Cars versus Toy Story, and Toy Story lost to Cars. Mm-hmm. What the F? Toy Story is so much better than Cars. Cars is the stuff that they find on the whatever editing room floor, and they're just like, "Oh, yeah, that's cute enough. Let's do it."
Would you rather hang out with Jesse from Toy Story 2 or Mr. Potato Head from Toy Story 2?
Oh shit! Jesse or Mr. Potato Head? Probably Jesse.
I'm thinking Jesse would tire me out pretty quickly with her. Yeah.
She's very. Yeah, it's like very. Get up in the morning.
Whereas Potato Head and I think could chill, like smoke a couple cigarettes, hang out. I could play Got Your Nose.
Actually, can I change my answer?
You want to go with Potato Head too?
Oh my god, but then Jessie will be like really upset because she's attached.
Then she's gonna sing that song.
Damn, I don't want that song.
Here's the good news.
I made my choice. I made my bed. I have to lay in.
Here's your thing. Remember this as well. It's totally natural for you to pick an extrovert to hang out with, because you're down to receive a little bit more, to listen more, right? I want my relationship to naturally allow me to pull body parts off of the person I'm talking to. So that lends me more towards Mr. Potato Head, whose body parts are detachable easily. Whenever I try to do it to other people, it causes problems. Like, hey, why are you yanking on my ear like that? It's a good idea, Winston's mom. I'm gonna have to do some additional work on this. Joaquin Phoenix. Who wants to hang out with Joaquin Phoenix? Joaquin Phoenix is one of the dictionary examples of gaffness.
And he's begging from his family too. No offense.
I don't want to hang out with Gwyneth Paltrow, but I might be willing to hang out with her candle.
That's cool.
I think it'd be cool to hang out with River Phoenix.
Right?
River Phoenix
I
would be
agree.
cool. That'd be fun.
Cool.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind hanging out with the guy who played
Do they really explode?
who played Samwise Gamgee in Lord of the Rings. He seems cool.
Oh yeah, he does.
What's his
What is
name?
his name? He's from Goonies also.
Yeah, he's from Goonies. I want to hang out with Short Round. Remember Short Round from Indiana Jones? I wonder what he's doing right now.
Short Round.
Oh, Mr. Jones, I can't go any better. That guy. That
Yeah,
kid.
he was Data also in
Oh, he was in Goonies as well, huh?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I prefer to think of him as Short Round. So,
Short Round
because Short Round's a great name.
I don't get the name.
It's a great name because it's supposed to be kind of Chinese name sounding-y, but also means short and round, and it's just a great name because you go,
Short Round.
why is the name Short Round?
Yeah. That's like literally what I'm asking myself.
Nobody knows. The Unabomber does not make the list. Nobody wants to hang out with Ted Kaczynski's nut job. Now,
What about like Cecil B. DeMille?
Cecil B. DeMille?
Yeah, didn't he was like that, like he started all like the studios where movies were made. He's a director.
And action!
Yeah.
You there!
Yeah. You there.
That kind of guy.
That kind of guy.
He was
yeah.
probably, apparently all those old studio execs, if you were an attractive chick, you wanted to roll as an attractive chick in the studio, you basically had to sleep with them.
Yeah, you did.
So it's like they're kind of all horrible people.
Oh, damn.
Um,
Yeah, that is so true. That goes with ew.
Like I would include on the list William Shatner, but he's Canadian. William Shatner deserves mention, but he's Canadian.
He deserves mention.
Edward Snowden. Okay, Edward Snowden. I would like to hang out with Edward Snowden, maybe. Although I gotta say, when I hear him talk, my takeaway from it is that Edward Snowden was and remains ill-equipped to be Edward Snowden. And so as a consequence, he really deserves extra credit, more credit. As president, I will issue a broad pardon of him. He's welcome to come back. He's a patriot as far as I'm concerned.
I feel the same way.
I tell you who deserves to be put in prison for traitory stuff is that NSA guy. What's his name? Anderson? Who's the main guy in the NSA who went and fucking bald-faced lied to Congress under oath,
Who's this?
when subpoenaed by Congress? NSA director.
Wow, that's ballsy. He looks like a rat.
It's not him. Let's figure out who it is.
Oh.
Alexander. This guy should have been tried for treason. Brian Alexander. But there was another guy who was big in the NSA around the same time as Alexander. NSA, Brian Alexander, and who was the other guy, though? There's another guy who was involved in this whole thing. His name I'm not remembering. It's also significant to this. I'm still looking for the name of the other guy. James Clapper. Both those two should be arrested and tried for treason. Clapper and Anderson. You know what? Whatever Snowden's been threatened with, that punishment should be given to Clapper and Anderson. And Snowden should be pardoned. Those two fuckers got away with their bullshit. Isn't it? Those are the two, right? Clapper and Anderson. Fundamentally conspired to avoid the legitimate legal checks and balances of the division of powers regarding what they were doing and their shit that they were planning and stuff. The whole operation that created sort of secret courts to justify shit that was bullshit. That whole operation needs to be cleaned out with a flamethrower. You know, it's like that's just rotting, filthy garbage. None of it comprises legitimate legal protocols. None of it comprises due process. You know?
When did it start?
Let me see. Did I get the right one? I might have named the wrong. I might have named the wrong guy. I think there are two guys involved with it that I know pissed me off. One of them is Anderson. And I think the other one's Clapper.
Hi, Pee-Pee.
James Robert Clapper.
We gotta get you food, baby. I know you don't like it. Aww. She makes me sad. I'm sad. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, James Clapper is the one. James Robert Clapper Jr. That is the person I'm talking about. James Robert Clapper Jr. Yes, he's an awful person. He's an awful person because he lied to Congress. Right? It's like he thinks his job implementing Congress's laws allows him to perjure himself to deceive Congress. He's being a traitor. It's the same thing as if a foreign power paid him to tell lies to Congress, he would certainly be guilty of being a traitor. Why then does his own irrational certainty that what he thinks justifies his lies not justify him being a traitor? You know? You can't lie under oath
So
to
bad.
Congress.
How did they find out that he lied?
I mean, he said shit that was secret at the time he said it. That secret shit became unsecret later, and it contradicted what he said.
Oh,
You know.
that's bad news bears.
No, I'm not talking about John Anthony Walker. All right, I want to wrap this up now. Okay? Because it's been 2 hours and 30 minutes already. It goes by so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you guys all have reading assignments for the night. You need to read the new Bible, the new corrected Bible. The point is, when the underlings of democratic bodies put their own opinion ahead of their job as defined by those democratic bodies, they are not understanding the responsibility of being a public servant, right? So anyway, good night, and everybody please remember to dream sweet dreams of peas and soup. Peas and soup are good.